The Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid has come back for 2026, and it does something almost none of its rivals manage. It carries 7 people, yet it will still cover around 53 miles on electricity alone before a single drop of petrol burns. That is the promise this whole review has to test, because the family SUV in front of you is the one Britain gave up on too soon. Mitsubishi quietly withdrew it from sale. The market moved on to full electric cars, and now it returns with a larger battery and a point to prove. So if you want the honest answer before you spend a penny, subscribe, because that is exactly where this review is going. First, the obvious thing. This particular example wears a wild green military camouflage wrap. That is a motor show costume, not a color you can walk into a dealer and order, so look straight past it to the machine underneath. And even beneath all that pattern, the design reads clearly. A tall, upright grille and a deep silver skid plate handed a proper, go-anywhere face, with the 3 diamond badge sitting dead center where it belongs. Slim daytime running lights feed down into chunkier clusters lower in the bumper, and this Nativa trim fills its arches with 20-inch black alloy wheels. None of it is delicate, and for a machine built to haul a big family up a muddy lane, that planted, upright stance is precisely the point. Open the driver's door and the honest, practical streak carries straight through. The dashboard pairs a crisp central touchscreen with real physical buttons for the controls you reach for on the move. So warming your hands never means diving 3 menus deep. The materials are a mix, some soft and padded, some plainer than the money suggests. Yet the front chairs are broad and genuinely supportive. Step up to the Diamond version, and those seats will even massage your back, sitting alongside a 12-speaker Yamaha sound system. Then comes the feature that defines the whole car. Raise the 3rd row, and you have a full 7 seats, where the default rival, the Toyota RAV4, only ever gives you 5. Those 2 rearmost perches are best saved for children on shorter journeys, and getting back there asks for a little agility. But having them at all, in a plug-in hybrid this size, is a genuinely rare trick. Lift the tailgate, and there is nearly 500 liters of boot behind the middle row, room for a full weekly shop and a folded pushchair. Drop everything flat, and that space opens out past 1,400 liters. Now, 7 seats and a big boot are easy to photograph. Living with the thing day to day is what truly counts, so here's the part the glossy brochures tend to skip. Mitsubishi backs this car with an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty, one of the longest safety nets anywhere in the class. Independent reliability surveys have placed the Outlander among the most dependable SUVs on British roads. And for a vehicle juggling school runs, holidays, and dog walks, that peace of mind is worth real money. The running costs read well too. That electric range and its low emissions dropped this Mitsubishi into one of the cheapest company car tax bands. For a business user, the monthly deduction sits at a fraction of a conventional petrol SUV's. The official figure is a laboratory number, naturally. In everyday use, expect closer to 40 electric miles, a touch more in warm weather, a little less in a hard frost. Even that covers the average British commute twice over without waking the engine. If a genuinely useful family plug-in is the car you have been holding out for, stay with me, because the number that settles all of this comes next, and it is a keen one. The 7-seat Nativa opens at just under £47,000, with the 5-seat Diamond $3,000 above it. Study that latter for a moment though, because it inverts the usual order. The cheaper Nativa is the version that hands you 7 seats, while the dearer Diamond swaps 2 of them for its massage chairs and upgraded speakers. For most families, the entry model is quietly the clever choice. Set against the true 7-seat plug-in rivals, that figure looks stronger still. A Hyundai Santa Fe Plug-in begins beyond £53,000, over $6,000 more than the Mitsubishi. It offers only around 34 electric miles to the Outlander's 53. The closely related Kia Sorento tells much the same tale. A proper electric commute, room for the whole family, and a lower asking price than either is a mix this segment simply does not serve up anywhere else. So what is actually powering it? Beneath the floor sits a 2.4-liter petrol engine, working with 2 electric motors, one mounted on each axle, so it drives all 4 wheels, with no prop shaft threading down the center. Mitsubishi calls the system Super All-Wheel Control, and it can shuffle drive between the wheels for grip on a wet slope or a gravel track. Together, the motors and engine muster around 300 horsepower, and 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 7.9 seconds. That is brisker than a car this sensible has any right to be. Though the first UK reviews describe the character as smooth and effortless, rather than sporty, which suits its job. Leave it to its own devices and it glides on electricity, calls up the petrol as a generator when the battery dips, and only fires all cylinders when you truly ask for it. On a single tank and a full charge, Mitsubishi quotes well over 500 miles between stops, enough to cross most of the country in one hit. But the beating heart is that 22.7 kilowatt-hour battery, meaningfully larger than the pack in the previous model. Plug in on the driveway and it refills in roughly 6.5 hours, so most mornings begin on electric power, with petrol held quietly in reserve for the long haul. And that carries us to the one real catch, the single true blemish on an otherwise rounded package. When you genuinely need a public rapid charger, the Outlander still leans on the aging CHAdeMO socket, a fading standard that hardly any new charging point bothers to fit. Even where you track one down, it peaks at only around 39 kilowatts. In a full electric car, that would be close to unforgivable. Here though, it stings far less than the specification implies. You top this one up at home overnight and let the engine shoulder the long motorway stints, which leaves that slow public charger as a backup you will scarcely ever reach for. It is a real weakness, but an easy one to design your driving around. So who is this returning Mitsubishi actually for? It suits the family that needs 7 seats now and then, wants an electric commute the other 300 days a year, and can plug in at home. It is not for the flat dweller with nowhere to charge, nor for the buyer chasing the very longest electric range on sale. Know which of those you are, and the decision makes itself. Which brings us to the verdict. Judged against the 7-seat plug-in rivals, the numbers that matter are on screen now, and they fall firmly in the Outlander's favor. The one to buy is the 7-seat Nativa, at just under £47,000. It undercuts the Diamond yet still hands you more seats, which is the entire reason this car exists. Skip it outright if you cannot charge at home, since without that nightly top-up, it becomes a heavy, thirsty petrol SUV. And if you want to cross-shop, the dearer Hyundai Santa Fe Plug-in and the longer-legged Toyota RAV4 Plug-in are the two to weigh against it. Tally all of that up, and the Outlander lands at 7.5 on the AUTO TV score, a machine that quietly delivers the family an electric brief most only pledge. Britain, it turns out, was far too quick to wave it goodbye. And if you are torn between this and that RAV4, its all-new plug-in with over 70 electric miles is the review lined up for you next.